YouTube? It's your boy Ghost. I'm coming to you from LA. I'm getting loaded up so I can take my happy self to Phoenix, and then from Phoenix I'm going to take my happy self back here, and then from there I'm probably gonna go east. I don't know yet, but I'm dropping this video today to speak on 7 years in this game and everything that I've learned, all my trials and tribulations, my failures and my success. I'm gonna talk about that. I don't know how many parts this whole thing is gonna be, because my trucking resume is pretty long, and if you pay attention to it, you can kind of understand. I'm the type of person, I like to follow certain patterns. That's with everything that I do. I have a pattern to how I do everything. It's a pattern. But let me give y'all a quick introduction about my background. I never had no background in trucking. I honestly didn't know that I had truck drivers in my family until I started driving. And that was in 2012. Started driving in 2012. Got my CDL from Roadmasters in Fontana. I was married when I got into this industry, so when I first introduced it to my ex-wife, we went through the whole part of, what do you call that? When the recruiters at the trucking school tells you, oh yeah, you can make $80,000 your first year. So I'm sitting up there, I was that guy, like, oh yeah, $80,000 my first year, woohoo. So, as you all, well, you don't know, but I have a background in law enforcement. I was a therapist for LA County probations. I work with juveniles, the badass juveniles and the crazy ass juveniles. I was that guy who had to go in and do intake reports, and I had to basically transition them from either the camps, the halls, the group homes, back into their family. It was kind of like a rehabilitation process. I really built a good relationship with a lot of the kids there. I was trying to be, that role model type. I got a whole bunch of stories that, man, woo! Let me tell y'all, there's a difference between an LA kid and a San Bernardino County kid. Night and day. But anyway, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother video. Boss lady's actually understanding what I used to tell, all of the stuff I used to tell her about, because, she's in law enforcement now. That's why, don't really see her in the videos that much. She be there, but she not be there. And, that's what she does. She's in law enforcement. That's why, I can't be as reckless as, I used to be. Have to control my temper, because my actions not only affect myself, but they also affect her as well. So, I'm trying to be as peaceful and keep the peace, because at the end of the day, I am with the police. But anyways, back to this story. Don't want to go on a tangent too long. So, but yeah, basically, that's where I came from. So I didn't know nothing about trucking. I didn't know a single thing about trucking. The only time I really looked at truck driving was when I was in high school. I took the ASVAB and I scored like a 98 on it. So I was like, oh snaps, I scored really high. And I was gonna go to the Army. I went to like MEPS and everything, just did the whole process. But then I chose to go to college instead. So, I went, got my degrees in criminal justice and forensic psychology. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go to college, and then I'm gonna pursue law enforcement, because that's what my uncle did. So I was trying to, follow in his footsteps. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. So like I said before, it was like I started looking at getting into trucking, because I got an email from like CR England, and then they were saying like, oh, they had like these like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 sign-on bonuses and stuff. So I was just like, nah, I'm cool. Cause I'm making more than that, at what I do off of overtime. So, and back then I was just saving money because, I was like thinking about buying a house and everything else. So that was my thing. I'm gonna just save up a bunch of money so I can buy my dream house and have a whole bunch of kids and live happily ever after. So I started putting in a whole bunch of overtime. I think my overtime checks were like damn near like $4,000 a month. Like I was making some stupid money on overtime. So I was just putting it away. And on top of just saving money. That's always been something I've been good at, just saving money. So I got to a point where me and my ex-wife looked at our finances, and I was like, you know what? If I can do this in 1 month, it won't tap into like our savings or anything like that. So I'm like, you know what? Plus, she had went through some stuff with her job. She had lost her job. So the lifestyle we were living, minus her income, I needed something to supplement that. So I had started, my little company. Well, I'd always had it, but I'd actually went legit with my company. So, I needed to show, I was trying to get this loan, and so it could really boost my company, my other company, the one that I first had. It was like my production company. So I looked into trucking, and trucking seemed like it would be the go-to place to do that. Plus, I was tired of paying for shipping costs and all that. And I remember I had called, I think it was Swift, and had them pick up. I had ordered 53 feet worth of tires and all that. And I forgot what I had paid like a stupid amount of money to have it shipped to like a warehouse that I used to do. What do you call that? I forgot, cross docking and all that. So I had it shipped there, and then from there I had got like damn near like 6 U-Haul trucks and picked up all these tires, because I had like this big event that I was doing and I was selling tires at. It was like it was either a car, because I had car tires and bike tires on that load. And it was like, when I had paid to have that shipped, I was like, damn. And even the warehouse dude was like, dude, as much money as you didn't pay to have all this stuff shipped with all these U-Haul trucks, he was like, you could have just got you a semi, your own semi. So I was like, you know what, I think that's a good idea. So I looked into, trucking from then on. And that's when, I decided to take the leap of faith. I was scared as hell, but I still took that leap of faith to get into this industry. And I felt like, I had my ex-wife there as my backbone and my support. And I was good because, I felt like, she had my back in this. And it was like, I had told my family about it. They all told me I was crazy, didn't know what I was doing. I shouldn't get into this industry. It's a waste of time and blah, blah, blah. And only person that really didn't say anything about it was my dad. And he was just, I remember talking to him because he was a diesel and auto mechanic. And even in the Army, that's what he did. He was an air traffic controller in the military. Then when he got out, he started working on cars and motors and everything else. But he was an air traffic controller, and then he also worked at an auto body shop or auto mechanic shop. I guess that's what a lot of military people do. They be having their military job, then their civilian job. So I told him about it. He was just like, yo, little ass is going to be driving them big ass trucks. He started laughing like, I want to see this. I was like, all right, well, why you don't believe me? See? I was like, cool. I was like, I bet you before the time my hair touches my back, I would have made $1 million. That was, my bet that I had to him. So he was just like, all right, if you don't, you're going to buy me he always told me he wanted a 1970, I think it was a Mustang. It was like the Eleanor, the one from Gone in 60 Seconds. He always wanted one of them. And he's like, if it don't touch your back, you're going to buy me that Mustang. And it's going to have nitrous and everything else out the ass. You guys are speaking, car talk. So I was like, all right, cool, bet. I'm down for the challenge. So that was what, got me motivated and pumped up to go to Roadmasters. And I went to Roadmasters, and that's where I started. But you guys will catch part 2 coming up from Roadmasters to who I started driving for. Love, peace, prosperity.